The following interview was conducted by Lucille Pica, retired psychotherapist and longtime student of A Course in Miracles.
So, what made you want to teach meditation and healthy lifestyle?
I really learned to teach because, as they say, it's what we need to learn. When we teach what we need to learn. I really needed to make changes in my own life that made me healthier and more vital. And once I realized how effective those techniques are, it really became something that I wanted to share with other people.
Can you tell me a little bit about what you're teaching?
Yes, I got certification in 2010 to teach 2 programs for the Chopra Center, and one of them is called Primordial Sound Meditation. It's the meditation program that they teach to everyone who goes to the Chopra Center, giving them an idea of how to recontact their inner selves and their higher wisdom. And the other is called Perfect Health. It's a program that's based half on the ancient science of Ayurveda, which is a life science from India that's 5,000 years old, and also on more modern medical and physical sciences. So the Chopra Center has done the work of bringing those 2 paradigms of thought together, and those both inform the lifestyle program called Perfect Health.
So this is about the mind-body connection.
Yes, it absolutely is. Very, very early in the history of Western thought, the mind and body were separated for the purposes of study. And in some ways, that's been very helpful because our whole field of Western technical medicine, which is so incredible and has done so much for the world, the health of the world, was designed using or studying and working with the body, but not so much working with the more subtle, energetic body or with the thoughts and feelings of the mind. Ayurveda, on the other hand, and ancient Chinese science never did make that definition, that separation. So when we reintroduce Ayurveda into our daily lives, or the techniques of Ayurveda into our daily lives, we're in effect reintroducing consciousness as a treatment modality. And we are addressing the more subtle effects and of each of the choices that we make every day. And that's how we can reintroduce more vitality and more presence into our daily lives and the choices we make.
You're talking about the choices we make. Why is it important to know what we want in life or what choices to make?
It's a very good question, and it is very important for us to know. In the Buddhist sense, when you're talking about Buddhist philosophy or Buddhist psychology, they'll say that it's the things that we're attached to that are potential for our suffering, for what we suffer about are the things we're attached to. This is also true for us in our daily lives. For all the choices that we make, what we really want, what we really desire, drives us. It informs the choices we make. It even informs our perception of the world around us. So it's really important to become aware of what our driving desires are. What do we really want? Our desires shapes our perception, it shapes our choices, and ultimately it shapes our daily lives. And so this is the potential for both great joy and great suffering. If nothing else, it at least behooves us to get a better idea of what our desires and our needs, our perceived needs are.
And how does meditation fit into this? Because here in the West, we tend to associate meditation with relaxation. Tell me a little bit more about what meditation can bring me.
Meditation, you're right, is usually associated with stress reduction, and it certainly does that. That's the beginning or the first stage of meditation. It is a way for you to bring your attention inward, to allow all of the external stimuli, all the thoughts, all of the other things that can tend to distract us and bring our attention outward, and allow all of those things to go. and to bring our attention inward on our inner experience. So the first effect that it has is allowing us to relax, to let go of the stress of the body. We can consciously do that through very simple relaxation techniques. Beyond that, however, once we have given ourselves permission to have that inner experience, then we begin to have more insight into ourselves and into our interactions with the world around us. We begin to notice the kinds of relationships that we have, the way we communicate, the choices that we make for what we eat and drink, and the kinds of things that we engage in. We begin to notice patterns that we engage in, usually, that are maybe not so enriching or nourishing or healthy. And it's through this slight objectivity, this little bit of a, if you like, psychic, or I don't think that's the word I want to have in there, but it's more like a psychological step back, and we see ourselves. We develop the witness, and we begin to see ourselves as a being that's interacting with the world, making choices, engaging in habits, and it becomes easier to make healthier choices. So in that sense, it's an inner direction. It's a direction that is better informed, that we can make better choices just because we're better informed about the choices we have been making. You know, in psychology, there is a continuum that we talk about, where we talk about an internal locus of control or an external locus of control. So I could explain that in that sense also, because when all of our pleasures and pains, when all of our desires are directed for material things or directed to things outside of ourselves, we could call that an external locus of control. So if I get this object or achieve this material thing, I think I'm going to be happy. But in fact, what often happens is that we work very hard, we achieve those things, and we're really not that happy. And then we think we have to achieve something else, or buy something else, or gain something else outside of ourselves. What meditation does is that it reminds us of our internal locus of control. It reminds us of what's really, really important. When it comes right down to it, what really do we want?
And how does the health practice that the perfect health that you're talking about, how does that fit into it?
Well, perfect health is a set of guidelines, really, that can be very easily incorporated into people's lives. Now, we tend to think, when I make a statement like that, we tend to think that what we're going to have to do is make drastic changes in our lives to be able to become some kind of perfect physical being. But what we really find is that Ayurveda is based on some what used to be common sense or very subtle and very easily achievable changes. And the program itself gives you so many different tips that you can use, that you can pick and choose what will be most effective for you. For example, in my own life, I was really, really getting completely stressed out. I was really getting burnt out. I was really not healthy. I was engaging in a lot of very, very common behaviors, like drinking too much coffee in the day and then not being able to sleep at night. I mean, how many people do that? What Ayurveda does is that it's taught me how, first of all, through meditation, to step back and see what kinds of choices I'm making and catch myself before I have that fourth cup of coffee in the day. Also, how to change my desire so that my desire to sleep or my desire to be calm has become a little bit clearer. And also to deal with digestive disturbances by eating my largest meal in the middle of the day instead of late at night. You know, they're very subtle things, but they're all things that can have a huge impact on a person's life with very subtle changes.
So if I were to follow your prescription for this type of meditation and these healthy principles that you're promoting, would that mean that I would not get sick?
Also a good question, yes. No, it doesn't actually mean that we would never get sick. Instead, the answer more is we're stacking the deck in our favor. We're doing everything that we can to be vital, to be detoxed, to be rejuvenated, to be flexible, to be well-balanced, to be clear. Now, Ayurveda says that illness unfolds in 6 stages. And the way the Chopra Center teaches Ayurveda says that Western medicine is absolutely essential at stages 5 and 6. There's nothing better on the planet. But that Western medicine just doesn't really address stages 1, 2, and 3, which are the very subtle, more energetic, the stages at which we're experiencing some kinds of blockage of the flow of energy and information in our body, which Western medicine just has never acknowledged. And so if we can catch ourselves at those early stages, we can become aware and make these subtle changes to clear the flow of energy and information in our body, we are less likely to get sick.
And what if I'm already sick? Would this be helpful to me?
Yes, it would. We would never ever say to do anything against what your medical doctors are asking you to do. I mean, I like that about the Chopra Center's teaching because it never creates a conflict situation between what your medical doctors will tell you to do and what this course will tell you to do. I mean, Deepak Chopra is an endocrinologist, and his partner, David Simon, is a neurologist, so they know very well the value of Western medicine. But if you're already sick and you decide to take the Perfect Health program, which some of my students have, then you're going to be detoxing your body. You're going to be daily accessing your inner healer. You're going to be clearing the channel, and you'll make yourself a better patient because you'll become more aware of what's actually happening in your body. And you'll also be assisting the medical care that you're getting. So you'll be maximizing your health.
Just as a last question, can you tell me a little bit more about the body-mind connection in the body constitution in the Ayurvedic approach?
Ayurveda looks at the body, or the body-mind, as a combination of 5 basic elements, which those elements make up all material reality. So that means we all have the 3 different dosha qualities, or body-mind qualities. It's a little bit too much detail to get into here, but I think in general what we can say is that we all know these body-mind qualities. We all have or share and experience these body-mind qualities. The nice thing about Ayurveda is that they never speak in terms of one size fits all. It's not, you know, how we get so many guidelines and so many warnings from our media and from all around in our culture. No one should ever do this, or everybody should always do that. Ayurveda gives you some clarity in all of that confusion because it talks about what is your body-mind constitution. And therefore, given that, what is the constitution you were born with? What is the constitution that you're in right now? Ayurveda talks in terms of balance or imbalance. And so it's not right or wrong, but if you're noticing that you're out of balance, which kinds of things can you do to bring yourself back into balance? And of course, it's balance of the body, balance of the mind. So they talk in terms of using all 6 senses to bring oneself back into balance. And it's a really elegant, very simple, very elegant system.
Well, thank you very much, Sheila. That was most enlightening.
Thank you. Thank you very much, Lucille.